he ain't gonna change for you. There is not a woman that will change a man. And I will say that for the people in the back that needs to hear it, that has the all-inclusive package in the Delulu Resort and Casino. I'm not saying that a man can't shift the way he communicates. I'm not saying a man cannot be better in terms of communication. I get that. But what the change I'm talking about is some inherent truth in terms of what he sees himself as a man and his future and the long term. What's up, YouTube family? Real quick, if you could just like, comment, subscribe, that helps out the show so much. Now, let's get into it.
The SelfHype Podcast.
What is up, y'all? Welcome to the SelfHype Podcast. It's your boy, Eli Vasquez, all brought to you by Chobo Studios. This week, we're going to talk about, can a man change? Can he shift from his ratchet origin story and ascend to that potential that you see? And maybe some hard truths, maybe some hard pills to swallow, but we're going to dive into all of it and how for you to heal yourself in the process. Let's jump in. Okay, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the podcast this week. Thank you for listening. I love seeing the DMs. I love seeing the messages. I love going on TikTok lives and saying, I love the podcast. I love the podcast. I have people say, oh, I told my friend about you, or I heard from a friend that a friend, or this or that and the other. Either way, it's freaking awesome to be here. And if this is your first time listening, we have fun here. This is really a space called SelfHype for a reason, because we're going to talk about Dusty Ass Man. Yeah, we're going to talk about if they could change or not. Yes, we're going to talk about all those things, but I want to talk about you. Everything I share and everything I post and everything about everything is always going to come back to you. And I'm the type of coach and personal wellness coach. I work with clients, been doing it for years, that I focus on you first, and then we find a partner, because we got to know, like, we're having a support system. Right? We're looking for a damn partner. We're trying to not win over a person. So we got to be well-defined in terms of what is our hero's journey, what is our story, what are the things that we're working on, and how do we find the best partner for that? But we got to do that work first, so we know how they can support us and also how to find a proper partner. So all that to say is thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. And let's get into it. So I really wanted to hit on this topic in terms of, can a man change? Because I get this all the time. I work a lot with women that are going through heartbreak, breakup, shifting in terms of healing. And that is that big what if. Like, I get it. Like, can this person inherently be what I always saw in them? Or can they be what I thought they were? Or if they even really are this? And it could be post-breakup that you want him to change, or maybe it's looked like he's changing for another woman, which is a whole other topic we get into in a bit. But inherently, it's, I'm with this person and I'm staring at this person and I see I want this shift and change. Can they do it? Maybe they cheated on me. Maybe they hurt me. Maybe they normalize toxic behaviors. And yes, they're so amazing when they're amazing, but it's this unsustainability and lack of long-term that I could really see myself with this person. Or maybe if they did hurt me and we're not even no longer in the relationship, can they change for the potential of a second chance? Maybe they're reaching out. Maybe they're trying to talk to you again. So I understand the heartbreak of it. And as a man, that's the beauty of talking to me and hearing me, is that I could give you that real of that experience. And I think the biggest hard truth that you need to swallow in this whole game of can a man change is this. What's up, y'all? I know you guys are enjoying the show, but real quick, I just want to talk about the Patreon. Patreon, you get early access to episodes, bonus content, and you could even ask a question that gets on the show. It's patreon.com/selfhype. Now, let's get back to it. The biggest hard truth that you need to swallow in this whole game of can a man change is this. He ain't going to change for you. It's just not going to happen. There is not a woman that will change a man. And I will say that for the people in the back that needs to hear it, that has the all-inclusive package in the Delulu Resort and Casino. Ain't no man going to change for a woman. Now, I need to unpack this a little bit, because I'm not saying that a man can't shift the way he communicates. I'm not saying a man cannot be better and do better at washing the dishes, or help you plan dates, or be better in terms of communication. I get that. But what the change I'm talking about is some inherent truth in terms of what he sees himself as a man and his future and the long term. Because if what I'm not talking about interpersonal relationship things that we could work on that are manageable. I'm talking on the big picture stuff. So if it ended because he cheated on you, is he always a cheater? The fact that he doesn't want a relationship, will that forever be the case, or will he not want one? If he has this dismissive avoidance, can he work on it? Can it shift? Like, I say all this to say that it is always possible for people to change. Of course, that is the journey of human beings. And sometimes it takes longer than others. Fortunately, some people never really get to see it for a variety of reasons. But ultimately, what you need to understand is that is he changing by inherently and sitting in his own solitude and realizing this is who he's meant to be as a man, or is he changing because he got caught? And we're just gonna sit in that for a second. We're just gonna sit in the ooh. Is he in the doghouse and that's why he's changing? He's just trying to get out of it, or he inherently sees that this does not correlate to the man who he's meant to be. Does this inherently correlate to being like, you know what? Based on where I come from, based on my childhood, based on my fears and insecurities and everything else, I am meant to be better. And this is with or without you. So that's something that is important to consider, that I need you to consider as a woman, to know that, okay, should I take him back or not? Should we give this another shot? Is this sustainable? He needs to see that for himself. And I will self-disclose as a man who's been in these streets, and it's so funny to talk about this because I'm only getting older. Like, I started talking about love and dating, a couple of years ago in terms of TikTok and everything else. So even in those 2 years, I've grown a lot. And I don't want to come off as like I'm superior and I have all the answers and all these other things. Hell no. I'm right there with you, girl. We locking arms together through these dusty streets. I get the vulnerabilities and fears of being a human being. And I will tell you that it really took me to see the things that I was doing as a distraction of who I was meant to be. And it was all based on fears, and it was all based on lack of vulnerabilities, and it was all based on so many things that even 2 years ago, you had a conversation to me about this topic, it would change because I am growing inherently through myself. And that is through different relationships. I think the relationships as me, as a man, and as people in general are signs. And you could start seeing the trend of those signs. And what matters is taking a level of accountability and self-awareness to do something about those signs. So when I was dating and when I was going through my process, I realized that I lack a level of vulnerability when it comes to dating. And I just thought the person sucked and the person, was out to get me and they were really anxious. So that's why I wasn't meant to be. And I wasn't able to sit in their shoes of what it was like to date me to know, well, I'm really avoidant. And I'm still avoidant, but I'm able to work and manage on it more. And I wasn't even self-aware of it at the time, but I would run away. I would be dismissive. I would speak up for myself. I would keep this woman guessing and questioning, what the hell does the future look like? Because I didn't see the future with myself. In my younger years, I was a bachelor. I thought my career was number one, and who gives a damn about even raising a family? I never wanted kids. I never wanted to settle down. I never wanted any of that. And we're going to talk more about this in another episode. About how I went from bachelor to wanting to be a husband. But all this progress was in my own solitude. And if anything, the relationships were just signs of the habits that no longer serve me. But it took time to see that as habits and know that these are distractions from the real work and the real fear and the real vulnerability of myself. The only reason why you're looking at this person is because of me. I wanted more for me, and it wasn't a woman. It wasn't even the relationship. It showed things and it helped in a certain perspective, but there wasn't a woman that I met that said that I was Mr. Bachelor McGee with. And yes, I would date her, but none of it made me be like, I want to be a husband now. No, it was none of that. It was me looking at my childhood. It was me looking at who my father was. It was me looking at every man that came before me. And realizing, okay, rather than making my past be my curse, I'm going to make it be my gift. So I grew up to see everything, what not to do. And that's all I knew. And I always thought, well, what's the point of love? What's the point of dating? What's the point of doing all those things? What's the point of seriousness and settling down? What's the point of ascending in some capacity if I already see this curse that I'm bounded by, versus seeing it as I know everything not to do. And yes, there's some obvious negatives of not seeing an actual healthy relationship growing up, but also it is my responsibility to stop playing victim and be better. I know everything not to do, so I'm going to be better. But that was a level of maturity that I had to take action in during one of the lowest moments of my life. I was single when I wanted to be better. I was single when I wanted to make these shifts and changes. So it's really important that for the women that are listening, that, I mean, as much as you hope and see that, I mean, once he sees me, and once he's with me, and then once I will change that, and I will change his mind, and I will hell no. If he does not see that for himself in terms of his personal life, he's not going to see it with you. And if anything, you're just enabling where he's at right now. You may see that as I'm going to be the beacon of change. No, you're just enabling who he is. You're just a product of who he is, versus you standing on business and saying, you know what? I want to find someone who could say and verbalize that they want to start a family and they're looking for something serious and long term. Because now that I'm older and now that I'm able to see the future for myself, I'm going to verbalize that. Because what's the hell's the point of dating if we're not doing the damn thing? Where if you told me, 5 years ago, I'm just dating, we're just having fun, who cares? Now to me that sounds pointless, but it wasn't necessarily the woman, it was myself. So at the end of the day, I really want to hit on the fact that a lot of this comes down with the individual realizing that they're meant for more. And that's our own hero's journey. That's our own personal wellness journey. That's their own personal development journey. The big struggle of seeing the potential in a man that he doesn't see for himself is that it's going to promote defensiveness. Ooh, defensiveness. Oh, we love that word, defensiveness. I know some ladies are listening right now. They're like, Eli, you have no idea what freaking Jorge put me through. You have no idea what Esteban put me through with his damn defensiveness. And I'll tell you right now, I'm a product of it too. No, not you, Eli. No, you made me laugh. No, you went to therapy. No, you do all these things. There's a level of defensiveness that I struggled with for a long time. And again, it has a lot to do with there's too much shame. There's too much fear of getting through this wall of vulnerability that I don't want to do it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to go through it. So I'm going to stay in this space and I'm going to be in my own delulu to say that this is enough. And if someone questions me and someone asks or wants more, or someone, wants to bring up of something that's different than what I'm doing, you're telling me that I'm not enough. You're telling me that I'm not enough right now. And who are you to tell me that I'm not enough? And then that promotes that defensiveness. The big struggle is that you see this future or this potential or something that he doesn't see in himself. Like he doesn't see that. So if you're telling him this is wrong and it should be better or whatever, and he doesn't see that for himself, or like, you know what? Yeah, this is a journey I want to go on. This is what I see. Yes, totally. Then you're just saying what you currently is in front of you is not enough. What you're saying is, oh, he sucks and you're not a good partner and you need to be better and you need to. So he's going to take that defensively. And that's the big struggle of this changeism. If he does not see that change that you see in him, then he's seeing it as he's not enough. And he's going to take that personally and he's going to get defensive. Even though you're just trying to share, I love you and this is what I see in you. But I'll also check you, Miss I See Potential. You gotta check yourself as well. Because a lot of the times we stay in this relationship for that hope versus, and we're in our own delulu because of that hope versus saying this is inherently who they are. And this is probably who they're going to be for a very long time. And that long time is not sustainable for my nervous system. But you rather go the easy route and say, just change, just do this, just do that, just do, and then you give them another chance and another chance, then a third chance, then a fourth chance, fifth chance. And you think, okay, this is the chance that he'll change. This is the moment he will shift. And as long as I give him those opportunities, then he'll see me as the one he's meant to be with. He's meant to share memories with. He's meant to love in all these ways, but you're just enabling his behavior. That's actually what you're doing. And I wish I could say, yeah, the 14th chance he'll change. Or, give it the 26th chance he'll change. And again, I'm not talking about, well, he does dishes wrong. I'm not talking about, well, he doesn't initiate dates. I'm not talking about he sucks at texting. Those are manageable things that we could work with. I'm talking about inherent shocking of the nervous system, damaging relationship activities, the infidelity, the everything else, or the lack of future, an inherent future that are non-negotiables. And it's a thing where, again, it could promote a lot of anxiety for the partner, and anxiety for you to hope, and that delusion just turns into a bigger and more prominent emotional storm versus just calling it what it is. And it's like, our futures don't align, and you don't see what I need for a long-term relationship. And again, it has to come from them. It has to come from a level of that self-awareness. Like, I know why I was a bachelor for so long. I know why I didn't see the point of long-term relationships. I know why when I would be in multi-year partnerships, women would say, I feel like I'm not really with you. And at the time, I'd be like, what are you talking about? We're together. We're in a relationship. Now I see exactly what they were talking about. I know where that comes from. I know exactly where that comes from. And the amount of emotional weight I had to take off myself based on my own personal story was my job. But I had to see it as a job I needed to initiate and do. And by seeing that there was a path forward of, it's not that I can't change. It's that I realize this change is necessary. And what I'm currently doing is not sustainable. But again, it's that mental processing they must take in terms of their own accountability. So I don't want, again, everyone to beat themselves up with the people that need to change. I know you're probably thinking, can he change? Will he change? Should I leave him? Again, he needs to give you some comfort based on his own self-accountability. And if he's not doing that, then we're struggle busting a little bit. Again, you got to ask yourself, like, what's up, y'all? I know you guys are enjoying the show, but real quick, I just want to talk about the Patreon. Patreon, you get early access to episodes, bonus content, and you could even ask a question that gets on the show. It's patreon.com/selfhype. Now, let's get back to it. Again, you got to ask yourself, like, if nothing changed in the next 2 years, how would that feel? And what are some manageable small actions within the next 2 years that will make you feel this relationship was worthwhile? And you got to ask yourself those big questions, because if there's no path forward with that, if that feeling is overwhelmingly unbearable, then maybe we have to end this. And I'll never tell people to break up. I'll never tell people to stay. That I always say, does this serve you? And it could get really scary, especially if you put years in, especially if you put memories into this, especially if you put life into each other, and I get the fear of ending something because you see this potential, but they just won't shift. And I'll never say, like, hey, tell them you're going to break up with them, just to be like, well, if you don't do this, I'm going to leave you. If you don't do this, then it's over. If you don't do this, then I'm out the door. If you don't do this, then you don't want to dangle a carrot of something that's really scary. But it is important to verbalize and share. I love you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you, I think. It's just these moments and things make me feel separated, and it hurts me. And in order for me to feel like I could do this next stage, I just need to see these actions or see this progress or see this thing, because I think that's what I really need at the end of the day. And I'm not out here to judge you. I'm not out here to try to hurt you or say that you're not enough. But I just know, speaking to my inner child, speaking to myself, speaking to my future, this is just something that needs to be a part of it. And we could work on you only brushing your teeth once a day. That's a little gross. We talked about that. We could work on that. That's fine. But if we don't have a future here, then I don't know how long I could stay. And And again, I don't say this to dangle a carrot over. I don't say this to pressure you. I'm saying this because I love you. And I know this is a part of the process, and I'm willing to support you through that. But if you don't see that, then I don't know how long we could do this. And it's not an easy conversation, but we have to lean into the uncomfortability. Like that's the big thing I think in love and dating relationships is we have to lean into the uncomfortable. It's so necessary. I work with women all the time, and when we talk about, they hit me with all these situations of, oh, he's toxic, or he does this, and he puts me through that, and he puts me through this, and he puts me through that, and I'm like, have you shared any of this? Have you verbalized any of your concerns? Have you brought up how it makes you feel and all these things? And it's like, well, no, well, baby girl, I'm blaming you then. At this point, I'm blaming you. We need to know if this relationship can work based on leaning into the uncomfortability and see if they got us. If we're like, I don't want to be a part of a relationship where we have a glass wall in between us. I mean, I want to break that damn glass wall down and give you a hug and see if we could do this damn thing. Like, that's what I want. That's where that level of leap of faith is and trust is, but it requires that uncomfortability in that moment. That's what it takes. So don't be afraid to embrace that uncomfortability, because that's how you're going to know. That's opportunity. It's not scary. It's not fearful. You're not your parents. This can be the most greatest moment in your guys' relationship in embracing this uncomfortability of conversation. So something I really want to normalize and hit on outside of the, will he change? Will he not change? I don't know. Like, you have a part to play in this, and it is to verbalize and share those needs in a loving, conscious way. And this is an act of love too for them, because if you just enable their behavior, then they're never going to be the person that you see in them. And if anything, you're just an enabler. And if you really love them, why would you put them through that? Why would you enable their behavior versus giving them an opportunity to actually grow? And that may be letting them walk out of this relationship. It's important to hit on, and this is very important to hit on because I hear this a lot, is, well, what if he changes for the next woman? What if he treats her better? What if he figures it all out after me? What if well, it looks like he's figured it all out. He said he doesn't like to go to Disney, yet he went to Disney with her. He never posted me on social. Now he's just posting her everywhere. Why is he doing all the things that he wanted? Baby girl, you should be happy for his ass. Okay? Your ego and your pride is the big thing that's getting in the way with this. I know, if anything, be goddamn happy. He probably wasn't ready to do that with you, but after losing you, he realizes he needed to be better. So I'm sure it's frustrating, but by all means, I'm not saying you shouldn't be frustrated by this. Sure, be frustrated, but also take a second to realize he ain't yours no more, and he's on his own journey of growth, and so are you. And you got to learn some boundaries and check your own red flags, because this relationship wasn't perfect, and you are a human being. So, and this is how you grow. And if he is being better, that's what we want. If not for the sake of a fellow human being and him, for the sake of other women. Okay, great. Another woman doesn't have to go through this, but your pride and ego is making it out so it's you versus her. Oh, she's better than me. What does she have that I don't have? Oh my God, what did I do wrong, or what I should have said, or what I should have done that? I should have. Take all that out. Why are women beating the hell out of women? I thought there's enough Avengers movies with the female cutscenes saying, "Who you have no one to support you," and then all the Avenger girls come out. It's like, we have her. It's like, be that. There's enough female empowerment to go around. So even if she's a little dusty and whatnot, it's in her. Eyelashes don't look the best, but it's like still like you want this person to be better. And again, this is easier said than done, obviously. But that's the eventual goal, is to not have an emotional reaction based on his action and inaction. That's really what the goal is. Honestly, he did better. Good for him. He's going to have kids one day. I don't want those dusty ass little gremlins to be just as bad as his ass. So good. I'm glad he's better. Let's cut those emotional chains and curses. Goddamn. But also, you got to focus on yourself to be like, okay, I need to check my ego here. I need to check my pride here. Why not change? Why did he change for her, but he didn't change for me? How truthful is that narrative really? Because at the end of the day, it's not like you're their roommate and you're hearing how they talk and you're going to the movies with them and and you're picking up groceries for them when the food's low. It's not like you know their relationship that well. Let's cut the BS. Like, you're just stalking on social. So obviously you're going to show all the highlights. Obviously people are going to project. You're not seeing the full life of human beings. Real life is in between the frames, and that's something you don't see. And it's what we choose to share. So you are destroying yourself based on his narrative of projection. And that is a boundary that you need to set for yourself in your healing process. And also, what's up, y'all? I know you guys are enjoying the show, but real quick, I just want to talk about the Patreon. Patreon, you get early access to episodes, bonus content, and you could even ask a question that gets on the show. It's patreon.com/selfhype. Now, let's get back to it. That is a boundary that you need to set for yourself in your healing process. And also, stop saying that, well, she's better than me and he's better. I'm like, yeah, just because he posts on social or he goes to Disney, don't mean he ain't still dusty. Don't mean he still don't got anger issues. Don't mean that he's not healed and all this other stuff. She has to learn that. You don't ever have to deal with that ever again. So stop focusing on the singular narrative based on your lowest self and ego. This is an opportunity, boo-boo. See it as such. You don't got to deal with his ass anymore. And he never saw that potential. He never saw it. He never did. And he didn't show you anything any different to make you feel this sense of confidence that it would be anything different. And even if it does look like he's happy and he does look like he's doing all this and he does look like he's shifting and changing, great. Great. We have to stop associating the external to the internal. And you need to understand, and this is coming from a man, there's a moment in that man's life where I will one day be a husband. I will, hopefully, I will one day have a life partner. And there's a lot of women that may look at that and say, why couldn't he do that with me? And on the other side of it, as a man, I was not ready. And now that I think back about those women, they're all phenomenal women I've been with, but I wouldn't go back to those relationships because I'm not who I was when I was in that relationship. I wasn't the same level of maturity, and neither were they. And who's to say that we would even connect the same way? Who's to say that it would even be the same relationship? And to this day, I stand on business that I wanted to end that relationship, and it should have ended. Because it wasn't really meant to be. It was me and my immaturity, me and my whatever, and what have you. I thank them for being my partners. I thank them for showing me things, giving me perspective. I thank them for all that. And I hope I gave them some value as well. But at the end of the day, it's not that this woman is better than them in any regards. Not at all. It's the connection, but also where I'm at in my life. I'm ready. I see that future. I'm excited for who I am. I see that potential now, but that's an internal decision I made. And it's not because another woman sucked or was any better than the other one. So hearing it from the horse's mouth, hearing it from the other side, hearing it from a man, leave yourself alone. Stop beating yourself up. The person that we're meant to be with chooses us. And guess what? I know I'm going to be seeing my exes walking down the aisle with somebody. And of course, these feelings are going to come up. But the way I feel and think is, hopefully I gave them some perspective, if anything, what not to do sometimes. But I'm so happy that they're happy. And I think if I had a magic ball or God himself came down and said, you could go back to these women or say your ex, or you could have them be happy with the person they're meant to be with. I would say 10 out of 10 times, even if it's not me, I don't want it. I want them to be happy. She deserves that. I love her to the point where I want her to just be with the person she was meant to be. Even if that means I'm alone. And I think it takes time to do that emotional processing. And I'm not saying that it's easy, but it's necessary so you could live freely again. So you could just, a closed fist is useless. You can't build, you can't connect, you can't hold. And yes, it's anger. Yes, it's frustration. Yes, I'm not saying you love them, But the goal is to open up that fist with the open hand again and to trust yourself to know that you could wave to them goodbye and also you could embrace the hand of another. And if you could get yourself to the point of that emotional regulation, no matter what the outcome is of this partner, and to know that there is this inherent love that we had our moment and it is over. And if they do change or if they don't change, that is going to be a space of wishing them the best no matter what. And if we could do that, then we could be free. And if anything, I'd like to think that's what our future partner deserves in us. So it's necessary to go through this emotional processing as a human being so we could be 100% honest and open to our future partner that deserves that. If we're really trying to be in the relationship that we're meant to be, it is necessary to process these emotions so we could be present. Because I'm pretty sure you would feel that it's pretty unfair if you are with a man and he's still thinking about his ex and how she couldn't change for him and how, what is she doing? And, oh my God, she settled down. And, oh my God, does she still think about me? He's not being fully present in this relationship. And that's really unfair to you. So it's necessary to go through this processing so we could give ourselves the best shot at love and for the future. And I'm not saying this is overnight. I'm not saying this is easy, but this is where personal wellness and discipline comes to your oneself. And again, I'm telling you as a man, it is an internal decision based on who they are. And sometimes it takes forever, if not at all, because the shame and the fear of vulnerability is too high based on his childhood, based on trauma, based on whatever. But it is not your job to help him unpack that. It is your job to support him through that, but it is not your job to fix him. It is between him and his highest self. And if he never sees that, then that is who he'll forever be, in his comfort zone. And that's the reality that you have to digest and face. And be happy that you see potential in people. Be happy that you have the superpower to be empathetic to the point where you want to support them and help them through that. That is a superpower. Don't lose that. That's not a bad thing. That is a gift, because that is going to take the relationship that you should be in with the partner that you should be with to the next level. So what you have are gifts, and do not beat yourself up for wanting this potential and wanting more from your partner. That is a beautiful thing to embrace and have. So, something to think about. What is up, y'all? Thanks for listening this week to the SelfHype podcast. We got a little deep there, you know what I'm saying? I know this dating game's confusing. I know this dating game is really difficult to process. Also managing your emotions, also heartbreak is so hard, and it's going to beat us ourselves up so well. And I think love and dating is the greatest portal of our own personal development. That's why I do coaching. So if you're looking to help your heartbreak post-breakup, if you're looking to navigate the dating game, check out the links in the show notes, how ways you could work with me. I'm all about calming the nervous system, better understanding men, to leave yourself alone, and taking big action today. So if you're interested in that, check it out. And also for my Patreon baddies, we got some exclusive content for you too. And if you want to be a part of that, also link in the bio too. Thank you all so much. And leave yourself alone and love your damn self. And just, when you got a problem or emotion, just twerk it out a little bit. Shake your butt a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Just do the damn thing. All right, I'll see you next week.
The SelfHype Podcast.